I'm in the wild with the dogs, trying to catch another sunrise. I'm going to start another book today called The Psychic Side of Sports by Michael Murphy and Rhea A. White. It says from the back, some of the Addison Wesley Publishing Company. Here is an extraordinary collection of the psychic events in sports, the strange and often disturbing stories that athletes tell each other, but that somehow elude their fans. ESP, out-of-body experiences, astounding feats of strength, and much more. Murphy and White uncover this hidden dimension of sports and draw striking parallels between these uncanny experiences and the fabled powers of mystics and yogis. Michael Murphy founded the Esalen, Esalen Institute with Richard Price in 1962. Currently, is everybody okay? What was that noise? Who did it? Oh, there's a chance that it wasn't the voice. It was somebody else. And yes, I can still hear the cricket. Or whatever it is. Oh, there's one of my friends. Alright. That was enough of what it's about. Let's see what it's about. The second publishing was in this book was in 1978. That appears to be the one that I am in possession of. Oh, that's cool. Got the Library of Congress cataloging and publication data. It's dedicated for my brother Dennis Murphy, who showed me these mysteries before I was old enough to defend myself against them. M.M. And for Harriet Edwards, who read the true book and understood. By R.A.W. I'm not ready to read all that. Alright, the introduction. Where East meets West in the body. Okay, cool. That's not us. There's a lot of people here in the wild. They must be having a fun time. They're hooping and hollering. Alright. No, there's bugs and people. Where East meets West in the body. T. George Harris. I do not know what the birds are that are fussing and fighting. In his New Yorker profile on Michael Murphy, Calvin Tompkins did better than anyone yet in reaching through the aura to the man. That is not easy. As founder and non-managing spirit at the Esalen Institute, Mike has, for years, been hidden by the intellectual pyrotechnics flashing around him and billows of sensual smoke. The New Yorker gave snapshots of the real Murphy at his everyday chores, the scholar secluded in his well-thumbed library of classics and mysticism, Western as well as Eastern, the rabid sport fan at pro football games and golf tournaments, the gracious host to the widest range of intrepid thinkers to be found in this golden age of new paradigms. In addition to his other gifts, Tompkins wrote, Murphy is endowed with a warm, responsive nature, extravagant good looks, and a wild Irish charm. All true, but still way short of the mark. For one thing, Mike has a rare capacity for friendship and a savage desire to hurt nobody's feelings. In the 2 decades I've known him, he has often kept silent rather than cause discomfort to anyone. That habit used to enrage me. Hey, what are you doing? Please sit down. Sit down. Mooks. Sit down. I can see you. Mookie. What's the matter? ¿Qué pasó, baby? What have you done? What have you done? Just like making little messes. Not little. Can you not just sit still, buddy? There's nothing at all in your way. You're just stumbling around on top of everything. What the heck? What the heck, buddy? Oh, one of my friends showed up while I'm messing with you dogs. Now one of my bird friends is here. Can we stop? Huh? Sounds like I have a giant rat crawling around in my car. And to be fair, I do. It's just a dog. All right. My lordy. Sorry about all that razzmatazz. In addition to his other gifts, Tompkins wrote, Murphy is endowed with a warm, responsive nature, extravagant good looks, and a wild Irish charm. All true, but still way short of the mark. For one thing, Mike has a rare capacity for friendship and a savage desire to hurt nobody's feelings. In the 2 decades I've known him, he has often kept silent rather than cause discomfort to anyone. That habit used to enrage me. Sam Keene, Princeton PhD in philosophy and theologian of love, once joined me in a plan to do a Psychology Today conversation with our old friend. The 3 of us spent 2 happy days and nights around a tape recorder. No holds barred and no cautions. But when Sam started editing hundreds of pages of transcripts down to an article, Mike began to squirm. There's the sun. Ideas to him have legs. They are inside the people he knows, his network of seminal minds around the globe. He did not want to judge them in print. Even if he said something good about one body of thought, he hated to be critical by indirection of the opposing view. He was then too much the gentle man to be the scholar. Sam and I finally trashed the transcript and settled for something better. The private pleasure of Mike's witty, skeptical mind. He's especially skeptical of skeptics. and the excitement of watching him cut a path through the thicket of wild notions, now sprouting in the rich, dark ground between the mind and the body. This book is a sort of coming out party. Murphy lays himself open, vulnerable to cheap slashes, without the protection of fiction. His two previous books were novels, Golf, as in Golf, in the Kingdom, and, in 1977, Jacob Atabet, as Atabet, a speculative fiction. Golf confirmed, Golf, Golf. Golf. Sounds more country than it don't. Confirmed many a square-minded player's sense that something more perverse than mechanics controls the flow of energy in a small white ball. It became a door through the looking glass in the locker room, a forerunner to Tim Galloway's inner game of tennis. Mike's current novel, Atabet, got its first orders mainly in the West, where people are less sure that they know everything, and in the psychic bookstores, where the customers tend to cherish the spooky, whether they believe it or not. But rumors about the book soon built demand for it in hundreds of stores that normally weigh a writer's worth on a rusty scales of the New York Times book review. Oh, that's pretty. All right. Murphy is now doing excuse me. Murphy is now doing this nonfiction book because of one fact. Rhea White. She is more than a co-author who wrote chapters 2, 3, and 4. She is the one person in the world with a particular combination of knowledge, skills, and interests to build the definitive bibliography on extraordinary experiences in sport, those that arouse suspicion of paranormal powers. Rhea remembers the first time she was stunned by the extraordinary aspects of sports. She was watching a group of gymnasts working out in elementary school. My conception of the limits of human achievement had been extended, she recalls. I felt the same catch in the breath quickening of the heart that I was beginning to experience when hearing music. Oh, that's pretty. Rhea soon discovered that this ecstasy in her own muscles when she took up golf. One summer's day on vacation with the family, while hacking around a mountain course, she suddenly hit one of those magic strokes with a 5-iron that the body never forgets. Henceforth, I played golf daily for the remainder of that vacation and several of those to follow, she admits. She entered every tournament in reach, chased stars like Byron Nelson and Patty Berg and Carrie Middlecoff around the exhibition courses. Though she found she lacked the talent to become a champion, the motions of a correct golf swing never failed to thrill me. These pleasures did not then connect with her intellectual interests. These pleasures did not then connect with her intellectual interest in parapsychology. She had taken her AB at Pennsylvania State, But parapsychology lured her to Duke University for research in Dr. J.B. Rhine's lab, working on experiments in extrasensory perception, which is ESP, and psychokinesis, which is PK. She was struck by a fact that seldom got mentioned in the parapsychology journals: the rigorous training and concentration that seemed necessary for any psychic to make progress, to improve PK or ESP skills. I was awed by their dedication and discipline, she says. The training was much like that of a serious athlete's, she noted, as well as that of another gifted group she had begun to study, religious mystics. With such parallels teasing in the back of her mind, and having attained a master's degree in library science at Pratt Institute, Rhea settled down and in 1965 to bread-earning work as a reference librarian on Long Island. She became a mainstay at New York's American Society for Psychical Research in Manhattan, and is one of the few people anywhere who has read deeply into the literature, old and new, on mysticism, parapsychology, and altered states of consciousness. Rhea has the archivist impulse for building a cross-reference index on every aspect of paranormal experience, including those found in sports. Her home is so jammed with research boxes that even the bathroom doubles as handy storage space for psychic index. Can't tell he's upset and won't stop barking back. Okay. White discovered Murphy through his golf, GOLF, in the kingdom. I couldn't figure out if it was a novel or for real, but either way I was mightily impressed by it. It reminded her of the late Gerald Heard's 1937 description of the mind-body athlete who will, he said, emerge in evolution's next step. This athletic type will resolve the conflict of matter and mind, body, and spirit. It will create that state of being in which flesh helps soul, no less than soul helps flesh. Rhea didn't need to trade many letters with Murphy before he caught on. When he and wife Dulce flew east to see her, he could barely contain his enthusiasm about Rhea's file of 30,000 articles on parapsychology, the largest of its kind in the United States. Since their meeting, and with a book on the subject in mind, Rhea has expanded her index of extraordinary sports experiences to 4,500 references. She was aided in the job by Martin Bow, a graduate school assistant. Rhea regrets that this present book cannot be encyclopedic, but she is considering remedying that with an exhaustive reference volume on the subject. Alright, let me take a little drink here. Thank you. Some of the tall tales about athletes in this book seem innocent enough, even trivial. The one on Satchel Paige is a standard joke played out on the baseball diamond. Paige was a natural mystic who devised his own Zen-like rules for right living. when his mind and body were in groove, and he'd had no fried foods to angry up the blood, he could throw so hard that the ball seemed to shift into a time warp. He once reared back and unlimbered a pitch so fast the batter never saw it, not even a blur, or so he claimed to his dying day. But then the story, pages 101 to 102, goes on beyond the stock joke. Catcher held the mitt where the ball was due to hit, of course. But when he fingered around in the mitt's pocket, he didn't find anything solid. So he and the umpire and the ball boy searched along the backstop. Still no ball. Gone forever. Satch's biographer dutifully reported their account as if it were just one more footnote about the earthy mystic with a superhuman arm. Today we'd have TVs to replay and stop action cameras to make sure that Paige did not fling that yin-yang horsehide right into the next dimension. After I read the Paige yarn, I called Mike in California. Paige was a sly old pro